Hey guys, this is Mike from Mike Buys Houses. I was recently on the phone with a homeowner who had inherited a property unexpectedly from his parents, and he wasn't sure what to do with when inheriting a house with a mortgage. So he reached out to me because he wanted a no pressure, no sales tactic conversation where he could figure out what his options are and how best to move forward when inheriting a property with a mortgage. So that's what we talked about. And if you're in a similar situation, you can reach out to me at 267-984-4765 or visit us at mikebuyshousespa.com. So the first thing we discussed is that it's super important to get the paperwork together. You're going to want to get whatever most recent mortgage payoff statements you can, get any will paperwork that you can, get the death certificate if you can, and find out if you need to go through the probate process, what the process is going to be for you. You can either contact a local probate attorney near you or reach out to me at 267-984-4765 and we can discuss kind of what is the best scenario for you to move forward, whether you need to contact a probate attorney or not. But things that you need to know, usually to go to transfer title for the property, you're going to go through the probate process because the house is considered an asset of the estate now, and this process is going to allow you to take title. So if you're wondering if you need to go through the probate process, there's a little bit of information there, and feel free to reach out to me if you would like to learn a little bit more. So specifically, what do you do if you do inherit a property with a mortgage? The first thing to know when inheriting a property with a mortgage is that along with the asset that you inherit, you are also going to inherit the debts. So those debts are now going to be your responsibility as the administrator of the estate. So after the loss of a loved one, you're also going to have to pay the debts and the bills on this property, which can be difficult, obviously. If you're paying your own mortgage or your own rent, now you have to pay for another property's mortgage, as well as the monthly costs such as taxes, insurance, utilities like water, sewer, and garbage, electricity, all that kind of stuff. And if the property's vacant now, the insurance company is going to want to know that, and that's going to increase the insurance costs. So when inheriting a property with a mortgage, that's an important thing to know. And when you're going through this process, basically the estate is going to have all the assets and liabilities calculated and determine what needs to be done with the house, whether it needs to be sold in order to pay off some liabilities or whether it can pass on through to the descendants without being sold right away. So some of the things you're going to need to consider are whether or not you can handle the additional monthly payments once you do inherit the property. So again, you're going to want to look at the mortgage statement and kind of see what that monthly payment's going to be before you make any decision. So that takes us to what options you have when inheriting a property with a mortgage, and this is what we talked about. So the first option when inheriting a home with a mortgage is to move into it or to use it as a family home. You're going to have to reach out to the bank and kind of let them know what's been going on, and then go through the paperwork process that they are requiring in order to get the loan into your name. So the first option is to move into the property or to turn it into a family home. The second option when inheriting a home with a mortgage is to rent it out. So things you're going to have to consider is, does it make sense to rent it out? Does it need any work before you can rent it out? And what kind of rental rates you're getting, and how does that compare to the monthly cost? So for monthly costs, you're going to have to consider the principal and interest on the mortgage, taxes, insurance, utilities, all those things that we talked about. But as a landlord, you're also going to have to consider some other costs, such as repairs, vacancies, and capital expenditures. That usually can account for 20 to 25% of the rent that you bring in pretty easily. So again, depends on your market and when the house was updated and everything, but just a good rule of thumb to consider if you're thinking about renting it out. I would definitely recommend consulting a property management firm near the property if that's something you're going to do, just to get a feel for a little bit more information about what's going on in your market. The third option is to sell it on market. Again, you're going to have to consider what is the condition of the property, because if it's in pretty bad condition, you're going to have to fix that up, at least clean it up before you can list it. Unless you're going to sell it to a home buyer like me. I actually bought an inherited property and let them leave everything in the house, and they were able to just choose to take what they wanted, and the rest I was able to deal with for them. They didn't have to do anything. But if you're going to list it with a realtor, consider the condition. When was the last time the kitchen was updated? How's the roof? All that kind of things. New homeowners aren't going to necessarily want to move into a property that needs a lot of work. 2, you're going to have to consider the timeline. Even if you list a property and sell it on the same day, if you're dealing with conventional buyers, this can still take weeks to months to close. So is that something you can handle? Can you deal with the monthly payments in the meantime? And the third thing is the cost to list with a realtor. We've made some videos in the past that I've referred to that talk about the cost to list with a realtor and also the benefits of listing with a realtor, because they're going to bring you a bigger pool of buyers than you'll probably be able to find on your own, which does help you get top dollar. But that's why it's going to cost 10% usually in the purchase price in order to list with a realtor, when you account for closing costs, commissions, realtor fees, the cleanup and repairs that you're going to have to do, all that kind of stuff. Which brings me to the last option that you have is to sell to a home buyer like me. I'm able to buy the property cash, which means that you don't have to wait at all. There's no waiting for financing contingencies, and also you don't have to pay commissions, you don't have to pay closing costs, you don't have to do any repairs, you don't have to clean the house out, as I mentioned. It's a super simple way to sell your property. Or you could sell your property to me on terms, which means that you're going to collect payments every month like being a landlord, without the headaches of being a landlord. You are upgraded to being the bank in this situation. And I don't know about you, but I would love to be the bank because they're always making money. So if you're looking to get the most money for the property, then this is definitely an option you want to consider, because you'll be tax consequence, and you'll also be able to collect the most money because you'll be able to make a little bit of interest and make money on your money while being secured by the property that you inherited. It's a great way to maximize the return that you're going to get on the house without doing a lot of work. So if that's something you'd like to learn more about, then feel free to reach out to me at 267-984-4765 or visit us at MikeBuysHousesPA.com. We look forward to helping you.